How's it going, my friend? Welcome to the channel. My name is Alvin Cepeda, and in today's video, I want to talk about success in the new year. Or another way I guess I could approach it is, Happy New Year! Success in the new year. So let's talk about it. So right now, at the time of recording this video, it's towards the end of January. But honestly, I don't think that makes a difference. But I want to help offer some guidance and also sharing kind of where I'm at in my own journey when it comes to like this time of the year, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, or more simply put, goals. How to work with goals, because I think a lot of us, most of us, if not all of us, are working with goals in various forms, consciously or unconsciously. You know, I think I share that because to acknowledge that we work with goals and how instrumental and important they are to our own fulfillment, the fulfillment as a soul, having this human experience, right? Just living a life of purpose and all that good stuff. Feel like feeling of accomplishments and the fulfillment from accomplishing things, achieving things. One thing I want to actually preface this whole video with is that when it comes to success, I want to let you know that your success is built on your own terms, meaning like your measure of success is essentially how you feel inside, the level of fulfillment, the level of happiness that you are expressing. You know, it's funny because oftentimes when it comes to like happiness, we tend to treat it like it's some destination. Like, okay, we want to get, or they treat something like, oh, I want to get this thing or that, whatever, and then I'll be happy. It's almost like this conditional thing. But it's like, from what I learned in my experience, is that when I'm involved in things that really nourish me and I feel alive and I'm enjoying, it's like happiness comes as a natural byproduct when I'm working with my own goals, big or small. It doesn't matter, you know. It could be as simple as I'm gonna wake up today, I'm gonna fix up my bed, I'm gonna do some laundry, I gotta clean up my bed, and then I could, you know, and I actually clean my bed and clean my room. And for me, a lot of fulfillment that I get from, so at times, you know, I get fulfillment from cleaning, you know, just like just looking at my room and seeing, wow, I just actually swept up, I've organized, tidied up my stuff, can leave me feeling like, excuse me, helps me feel more fulfilled. You know, again, there's no greater or lesser. Any fulfillment is fulfillment. You know, if you feel it, you got it, type of thing. So working with goals is like also honoring your needs and wants. We all have needs and wants physically, from like using the bathroom, got to take care of our business, to, you know, just like eating, sleeping, you know, those are needs. But then spiritually, this is where the goals come in. And this is where I believe, you know, if we're working with our own goals and not goals based on what we think others think we should have, that's a key important thing. And that's why I prefaced the video with, you know, your success is built on your own terms. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Doesn't matter who they are, because ultimately, defining your defining your success and what that means for you, that's taking personal responsibility, personal accountability, because you have your life to lead, to live, just like all of us, myself included. I have my own life to lead, and to live. So something that I want to share to give a perspective. And I wanted to give something for those that perhaps aren't sure about, like, if you don't have any goals or any you know, say you don't have any New Year's resolutions or don't have any goals, something that I would suggest as a starting point could be to find yourself, rediscover yourself. And that could take shape in the form of either looking at your past, you know, this will require journaling. You could try typing or writing, or sometimes what I do, I use a voice recorder and kind of speak into it, and I listen to myself talking about things, you know, whatever it is I'm sharing, right? Um, and then and just using that process of just like, okay, what are these things that, what are these clues? Because that's where we can, where the past can really serve us. Is like, what are the clues that I can really need to pay attention to so that it can help me moving forward where I want to go. So it's almost like you could have this approach of like looking at, kind of like being your own detective, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna investigate into myself, into the whole depthness of who I am as a spirit with this physical human body, and I want to know more. I want to understand more. What makes me tick and this and that? What makes me come alive? Type of thing. And it's this beautiful practice of, uh, by doing this, again, whether you have goals or not, but I think this is for people on both sides of the equation. If you have goals or if you don't have goals, the importance of clarifying. I think that clarifying things within yourself, from like your values, your vision, what you want to create for your life, things that you want to be involved in. Those are the type of things that can really, in some sense, shortcut your life, because then you'll start to fine tune your senses, and you start to look for things that actually fulfill you and make you feel full inside, feel happy, and just content, satisfied. And so I think in this process of trying to, okay, where I want to go, or maybe you already, again, you have goals. It's never a bad time to even reevaluate. Like, what else could I do? And this is where I would suggest also to think big, think big for the sake of, because there's so many possibilities of where your life could go. I mean this positively, to have some optimism here. Um, and and it's also important to recognize too that, say you have goals set in place, and you have some direction you want to go, and if you're sure you want to go that way, great. But sometimes life may happen, or we're always growing in our own journey. And so at some point where we think we wanted this thing, or this, or we had this goal, doesn't really kind of click anymore, and then we can just change course at some point along the line, which is fine, you know. And that's actually a good sign, really, if you're in that place. Okay, I'm just kind of as long as you're being involved, in my opinion, and you're making these changes based off, okay, this is kind of like having these experiences, I'm reflecting on them, okay, this works, this doesn't, kind of getting into that beautiful practice, and that I would also say like a dance. I think that's a beautiful way of kind of exploring, this beautiful way of finding yourself or rediscovering yourself, whether it's the beginning of a year, or even at some point, maybe you're like in the summertime or whatever, it doesn't really matter necessarily the time. And if you have goals already, I, I think it's very important to be aware of time management. It's important to be able to make time for your goals, because something that I've learned, in my own journey, is that, whenever I've set some goals, oftentimes the goals that I set from like thinking big, part of it was like, for me, was like starting my own podcast. The other one was like even doing this YouTube channel thing, working this whole YouTube. But I was procrastinating, and part of that was like, when it came to procrastinating, oftentimes, or I wouldn't say oftentimes, but looking at hindsight 2020, I would ask myself, what is it that I'm afraid of? Because when I've procrastinated on some things, there's a bit of fear within myself trying to address that goal that I have. And it's like, I have to be sincere with myself and ask, what is it I'm afraid of? And is it really going to kill me? Because 9 times out of 10, it probably won't. And the same thing would apply for you. Like, if whatever is you're fearful of, it's not going to kill you. At least I would hope not. I mean, I don't know what your situation may be, but 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, it won't. So, and something that I've also discovered too, that I can get myself into, that I have to be aware of, is, and I'm sure you can relate with this, or you probably know some friends who are like this, where it's like, man, I'm so busy. I don't have time for X, Y, and Z. And honestly, for those people that are so busy, I mean, being busy can really at times be a symptom of poor personal time management. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, I've definitely been in those shoes. I've definitely been in that situation countless times. So it's like being sincere with myself, like, what is it that I really want to do with my time? And being at the age of 32, I've had stuff happen. I've experienced things that's really helped, that that really I allow to help me examine myself, to put myself in the space of, okay, I'm getting older. I can't be messing around or procrastinating and just buying into these excuses not to do X, Y, and Z, like working on my YouTube channel, right? You know, but at the end of the day, it's like we're all gonna grow. Time's gonna pass us, and it's like when we look back, wherever how old, however much time has passed, and when we're looking back, it's like, do you want to be filled with regret, or rather contentment and satisfaction knowing that you took action, even if it meant, oh, I made some mistakes. Oh, I did this, I did this. And it might be cringy. It might be like, oh, I did this, or I said this as person, or whatever type of thing. And it's just, so what? You know, it doesn't matter. Because honestly, the way I see it, life is our greatest teacher. We're all here having a human experience. We're all souls, spirits having this human experiences, experiencing on this planet, this university called planet Earth. And so I think it's in our best interest that we actually embrace the mistakes, because it's from there that we actually can have the most growth and satisfaction. I don't think we'll be able to live any kind of fulfilling life if we try to wait for the opportunity and to try to get things perfect, you know? And I want to actually echo what I shared earlier about, it doesn't matter if it's like New Year's resolutions, if it's like January, or if it's March, July, August. The important thing that I want to stress in this situation is like, don't be an opportunist. Don't wait for certain conditions to be met, because oftentimes don't wait for certain conditions to be met before actually taking action. And oftentimes those conditions I know I've placed on myself are unrealistic. They're not feasible. I'm just setting myself up for just disappointment, and why did I do this, and it's just, I think it's all about those baby steps, and that's something that I think is important, that with whatever in your own process of figuring out where you want to go from here, you know, and taking each day to just evaluate, without making it too heavy, too crazy. It's just like, okay, where do I want to go from here? It's important that, to have patience with yourself and to be easy on yourself, because I'm definitely guilty of like really being hard on myself. Like, I do this. Oh, blah, da, da, ah. I can be hard on myself, but at the end of the day, it's like, but what good does that serve if it just brings me down? It's just, at least that's what I ask myself. It's like very in my own introspective, reflective, and just building this relationship with myself that I've done over years. That's been a practice, and in essence, also a way of life. So, and so I guess to the point of that, to kind of close that part out, is just when it comes to perfection or trying to get it right or worried about getting it wrong, screw that. Screw perfection. Embrace the mistakes and be open to what those mistakes, or just being involved in whatever it is that you probably may be afraid of. Be open to like what could be on the other side of that. What could be on the other side of the fear or the anxiety? For me, what's been on the other side has been like relief, feeling lighter, more bubbly, filled of life, feeling like my 5-year-old self, just like loving life, just like imagine like my 5-year-old me like sitting on a very tall like little stool, and I'm just sitting there having like some food or having like some sweets, and I'm just like with my legs to the side, just kicking in the air and just like happily eating like this little delicious dessert that I'm having, like a cupcake or something, or a dark chocolate, um, type of thing. So, and something that I want to share with you, that someone shared with me, that you can take with you as well, is that there's two words that I think for me, I've been embodying more and more as I'm in this process of clarifying within myself and trying to set for myself what I want to create, where I want to go, right? What life do I want to create for myself? Because it's available, because that's what life's about for all of us, is to create for ourselves, right? Two words: relentless and incremental. Be relentless and incremental. And if you can embody those words and looking at each day as Happy New Year, it's a new day, it's a new start, a second chance. That, my friend, will really, in my opinion, will take you far, to have that healthy perspective, because it's true. You know, what's done in the past is done, and the future is yet to come. All we have is the beautiful present, the beautiful now. And wherever you are and whatever it is that you're doing, another thing I would add as well to what I would suggest is that make it fun. What's the point of working with goals, working with all these things to be successful, right? On your own terms. What's the point if it's not fun? If it's boring or if it feels like a chore, that would be a good time to kind of take a step back, be like, all right, I need to reevaluate here these goals that I set, because it ain't clicking, it ain't bringing out the aliveness in me. Something's gotta change, you know. And so you're very intuitive, I'm sure. So like anything that comes up is to honor that. And honestly, something else that for myself that I thought about doing, you know, to be more successful in New Year's, like to sit with myself for a couple minutes each day with no agenda or anything, just kind of sit with myself and just kind of taking in the present moment. You know, no music, no distractions or anything like that. Unplug. You know, sometimes I'll do a bit of that actually in the evening, and then I'll do some of that, you know, right before bed. But that's something else that, again, I'm just kind of sharing all over the place on things that may or may not help. And so, and I'll kind of just leave it there, you know, just like as like the making it fun part, the most important thing. Because a friend of mine told me that if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. So even though again I'm just talking about success here, because I think being successful, part of the equation is like when you're being successful on your own terms, you feel happy, you feel content, and you're just having fun, having a blast. So, and that's available to everybody. You know, it's available to you. I know it's available to me. And sometimes all it takes is just to claim it. So if you got something out of the video, I appreciate it. You know, leave a comment if you know if anything stood out to you, resonated with you. Share it with somebody if you feel like they'll benefit from this. And yeah, you know, if you have any goals, anything you want to, if you feel inclined to share any particular goals, where you want to go, please, you know, feel free to share them. You know, definitely would, you know, I'll read the comments and I'll celebrate it and I'll support you. You know, go for it, type of thing. So, and yeah, so as I kind of stated before, it's like um, happy New Year, my friend, and happy New Year tomorrow as well too. You know, moving forward. So that's it for today's video, and take care, my friend. Peace.